Well, hello and welcome back, boat lovers, to another episode of Building Dragonfly. For those of you who might be new to the channel, I am embarking on a one-man project to build Dragonfly, a flat-bottom 53-foot wooden riverboat. I've designed her specially for the inland and protected waters of the River Murray here in South Australia, and she's going to be an exceptionally shallow draft, only drawing about 8 inches. So this week we've made lots of progress. I have finally completed the installation of the bow thruster. As regular viewers would know, this has been a bit of a thorn in my side. However, I'm really happy with the progress, and now that that's in place, I can really start moving forward with some of the larger construction. So stick around, and Millie the Wonder Dog and I will show you what we've been up to for this week in the boat shed. Almost finished with this retractable bow thruster setup. I've been going on with other jobs before finishing this, but my neighbour is coming up soon and we're going to get everything fitted into place. One of the things I've decided to do is to put a self-draining system in this, so as if we get any water intrusion at all between the retractable bow thruster and the housing, I'm going to put a through-hole fitting through here, going down to an outlet down in the bottom. So if any water did get in between this housing and the thruster, it can self-drain out. I'm just concerned that while we're pushing through the water, the bow pressure of the water coming up against the front of the hull might force some water into this area. I don't think it will, because there's going to be a rubber seal around the bottom of where the bow thruster pulls up into position. But again, better safe than sorry. Very simple to do. I'm going to set this into here, run a hose down to the bottom with a stopcock and an outlet, and that way any water that comes in any way at all will just self-drain out. So that's the plan, that's what I'm about to do. Just been down to the boat shop, got my through-hole fitting, a 19mm. I think it's about an inch, or no, a little bit less than an inch, 3/4 of an inch I think, in imperial measurement. And because of the thickness of this flanged end here, I'll need to countersink that in a little bit. So I've got my hole saw, I'll do a little rebate on the inside of this, and I'll chisel that out so this is going to sit flush. And of course I'll epoxy all the bare timber so as we get a nice watertight surface there, ready for me to Sikaflex this into place. Let's get to it. I've just put a little bit of tape around my hole saw. I only need to go as deep as the blades really, but that's so I can just see the depth. And we will just put it towards the back a little bit here and see how we go. Right, that's only about 3/16 of an inch, 4 or 5 mil, something like that, which is plenty. Actually, maybe I might use a couple of smaller sizes just to go in there to help chip that out. There's a plan. I might use a couple of other sizes here, and hopefully that will make the chiseling a lot easier. There's the next size down. Right, I'll give you a little close-up of that before I chisel it out. Very pleased with the way that worked. Here we go. I'll turn the camera around and give you a squiz. Hopefully you can see that. So that's a series of cuts with the hole saw. Once it's chiseled out, that will sit in place. That will sit in there, flush with the surface of this, and then it won't get in the way of anything sliding up and down. Okay, chisel time. My most useful and favourite tool out of everything I've got is just a paint scraper with a tungsten blade in it, and it is so handy for all sorts of things. There we go. I haven't touched the boat for about a week. I've been off helping somebody do some bathroom renovations. So that took me away from this project for a week to 10 days, and it's good to be back into it again. I don't have a tiny brush at the moment, so I'm just using some cotton buds just to get into this little crevice here. The first coat, put another couple of coats on that later, and sand it back nice and smooth, and we're done. Okay, the bow thruster story continues, or the retractable bow thruster should I say. This is the unit here, that's the housing. I've made a bracket at the top, hopefully you can see that there. This bracket will have an adjustable bolt on it, so as the ram that's pushing it up and down, I can adjust that. But to assist the ram in lifting this unit and pushing it down, I'm going to add some helper springs. I wasn't sure what to get. I looked around, found a spring making place, and they come up with these very elongated springs. Each one rates about 5 kilograms at a steady pull. So I'm going to put 4 of these springs on here to assist with the weight. So as the ram is just going to push this bow thruster down and back with minimal thrust, probably about 5 to 10 kilos of thrust, not much at all. So these are going to attach to this bracket. 4 of these going from the top of this up to the ceiling. These are the fixtures I've got, little steel hooks. I'm going to cut that off there, make a notch in there, and weld 4 of those to this bracket. And I've spent a lot of time sanding and adjusting to get this to fit as neatly as I can inside this housing without wobbling around, but also being having enough movement that it will slide up and down fairly easily. At this stage, I'm quite happy with it. If I slip this into place, like so, and I just let it go, it lowers itself down like that. Just one finger, I can push that right through, sticking out through the bottom of the boat. I'm quite happy with that, but it is heavy and those springs should do a good job. So once that's in place, the 4 springs will go from here up to an anchor point on the ceiling, and that's going to assist my linear actuator, my 12 volt ram, to push this down and pull it up again. So right now I'm going to weld those little hooks onto my steel bracket. I had my welder set up for aluminium welding because I made some houseboat pontoons last year in aluminium. And any other welding I've done on steel, I've just been using a stick welder. So I've just gone and bought the spool wire, etc. to use the MIG, so I can get a little bit neater welding when I put these hooks on here. I'll take this bracket off, get my little cut-off wheel on my grinder, and cut these hooks to size. I'll be cut off about here, and as I say, just a little notch in there so the spring can hook around to those. All right, so let's do it. This bracket will have 2 anchor bolts in each side. 4 anchor bolts in each side. Just got 2 there at the moment. Just holding that in place. And of course, I'll paint it with a protective paint, even though it's not going to get wet. So there's the bracket. As I say, those little hooks, we're going to weld 1 in each corner like that, so as we can hook these springs onto it. Okay. too bad. Here we go. I'll just grind those flat so as they fit inside the bow thruster. And there we go, there's my bracket. Quite pleased with that. Once that's all cleaned up, I'll give it a paint with some rust proofing 2-pack or something like that, or some enamel. That will do very nicely.